Today, I'm honored and thrilled to be in Sherman Park neighborhood here in Milwaukee. Behind me is Sherman Phoenix, and I'm gonna have lunch with my man TrueMan, owner of Funky Fresh Spring Rolls.
You ready to get your grub on?
Oh, I'm always ready to get my grub on.
Let's get it. In total, the Sherman Phoenix is part food hall, part community space, it's part meeting space, but it also is a beacon of hope for the community.
Wow. Stupid good.
Yeah, stupid good is the word.
Palermo's is a third-generation frozen pizza manufacturer, and in fact, is one of the largest in the world.
Some would say that we unite and serve. Others would say that we're in the pizza business, so we do both. We're a frozen pizza manufacturer. We manufacture 300-400 different varieties of pizza.
All right, welcome to Palermo's.
Thank you.
Yes, first time in a pizza factory?
It is my first time in a pizza factory. I feel like Charlie going into the chocolate factory.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Except we hope we don't fall into the giant river of sauce. I think Milwaukee is a great place for food production in general. We have some of the best natural resources in the country. Really great ingredients from your wheat to your proteins to the water, so.
Midwesty, baby. I love it. I love it.
Wisconsin Foodie would like to thank the following underwriters.
Hey, what's up, Luke? Good afternoon, sir.
Hey, how are you, brother?
I'm doing great. Great. How about you?
Good. It seems like the Bucks are getting their act together a little bit after that game one. Yeah,
that's right. Oh man, that was a beatdown the Bucks had without Giannis there. Looking forward to hopefully closing the series out. Moving on.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So this week we had a little I had a little snafu. I thought it was the wrong episode, and I had next week episode posted up as this week's episode, blaming 420 on that one. This is the day of of fog and haze, but no, thankfully, like this was like literally 15 minutes before it went live. You reached out and said, Arthur, I think you're confused. You got the wrong episode up. So I had to go and do all my back channel magic and get the episode prepped and ready to put on television or put on YouTube. And I, frantically got it done and got it out, and it went off without a hitch. So, it's at the end of the season. It's not an excuse, but,
It's all right. Minor setback in comparison to the amount of good I think that this episode really does. Specifically for our guy TrueMan, who it sounds like he's pretty busy today, running around. But I think to kind of frame this well, one of the questions, Arthur, and I know a little bit of the research that I did, Sherman Phoenix, was kind of ground zero for a really, really dark or, a really, really powerful change moment in the city of Milwaukee. And you were kind of right there for it. I mean, it's not far from your house. Mm-hmm. Can you talk to us a little bit about what kind of happened in Sherman Park?
Yeah, so there, I want to say Seville Smith. There was a killing of a young black man in that area of Sherman Park, and it sparked. I think there's been some. And I think we're trying to get TrueMan McGee is going to be our special guest today. So he's running around like that man is a hustler. So he's trying to get logged in and get ready for the live stream. But until he does, I'll go over that. The situation. I think it's that side of Milwaukee has just been a tinderbox, there's just been a lot of people that aren't being heard and misrepresented, and I think that Milwaukee is a very segregated city still, and it is one of the hardest issues to try to figure out as a local in local government and how to undo that redlining that took place so many years ago. And in this particular area, I think you had what was happening with George Floyd, Eric Gardner, Dontre Hamilton, which is a local situation. you had all of these things that were just kind of festering, and you had a community of people that were angry, very angry, and not being heard, and felt very, very just separate. And when this shooting happened of Seville Smith, and I'll have to, I want to get that name right. There were, riots. The people began to riot in the Sherman Park neighborhood, which is a predominantly Black neighborhood. And that riot, they ended up burning, down a gas station. They ended up burning down a bank, and that bank was the bank. They basically, the reason it's called Sherman Phoenix is because from the ashes of that bank, a couple of developers saw the need and for how food can bring together a community, and decided to open up the Sherman Phoenix and bring the community together and foster sort of new business, new Black-owned businesses. And it's really just been such a positive sort of hub, a positive force for that community. It's drawing people from all over other neighborhoods, because right now Milwaukee, when you talk about Milwaukee, you get such a bad rap, and it's my city. I love the city. I love the Bucks because I love Milwaukee, and I love to see this name Milwaukee on national television anywhere I can. And that's why I support these sports teams, is because I want to see Milwaukee's name out there. And for people that live in suburbs outside of Milwaukee, or for people that live outside of Wisconsin, people that live in outside, in Viroqua, they think Milwaukee's the most dangerous place in America. They're afraid to come to our city, and I feel like that it's just, while it's dangerous, it is dangerous in certain areas. I feel that that we we got to look. I don't want to say we got to look past that, but I think by people coming to support places like the Sherman Phoenix really can open up your eyes to what a beautiful city Milwaukee really is. These are really isolated incidences that are happening, and I think that that if you're a smart person, you know where to be and where not to be. You know how to act and how not to act in certain situations. But I just can't stress enough that people really have to go out and check out the Sherman Phoenix, support that, and also support all of our Milwaukee businesses. It's really valuable for people to come out, and show their support, because if you're too scared to go to a place like the Sherman Phoenix, or you're too scared to go to a Bucks game because you think you're going to get shot, that really doesn't help our city at all, and that really pushes us down the hill further than where we want to be, because we've made a lot of progress in this city and our community, and we don't want to see that all disappear because people are afraid, because fear is the thing that that can really ruin us and ruin the progress that we've created.
Now, that's a great segue, and that's such good insight. You are correct. It was Seville Smith who was, unfortunately taken far too soon. But that element of fear, the last 2 weeks of episodes, starting with the Sikh temple and this week, it's illustrative of the connective power of food. How, as the person who kind of curates the storylines, specifically through images and all the tricks that we use on Wisconsin Foodie to bring viewers into the story, why is that messaging becoming so resonant with us? I mean, I feel like I have my version of that answer, but I also think, you have unique insight to that as well.
The one thing that really bothers me, though, Luke, is that, we aren't taking any political stances here. We are telling stories. We are very aware of politics, but when we make these shows, we're not trying to be political. We're telling great stories. And for people to think that this was a politically motivated story, that, we're just liberals, telling a liberal story, makes me sick, because these are stories that everybody needs to hear. Everybody needs to hear these stories. These are businesses that I actually, I think with Wisconsin Foodie, what I love about our channel and what I love about the show is it does bring everybody together. If there's anything political out there, people hear it. Like, for instance, last week during the Pardeep episode, just because Governor Evers was on the show, people automatically were turned off. And that, and that's a sad state of reality right now. And I wish we could get past that, and we wish we could humanize each other a little bit more. But I think these stories are very important to be told. Not everybody are telling these stories. I also want to throw a big shout out to a close friend and past employee of Wisconsin Foodie, Eric Young. Eric he had worked with Wisconsin Foodie for quite a long time. We'd been through a lot together with the show, and he started to make a documentary on Dontre Hamilton. Blood at the there's blood at the doorstep, and he put basically everything he had into making this film about Dontre Hamilton, who was shot by police at Red Arrow Park in Milwaukee. This is a man that had many mental health issues, and he was just sleeping on a bench, and they came up to him because somebody at Starbucks was afraid, that he was was just afraid to have a black man sleeping in a park. So the police came, and one officer definitely was not trained well enough, and ended up shooting and killing Dontre Hamilton. And that really sparked a lot. I mean, his death sparked a huge movement in Milwaukee and a huge movement nationally. And Eric was making that film quite a bit while he was making Wisconsin Foodie. He was doing both at once. And we were so lucky to be able, when we made this show about the Sherman Phoenix, he actually was at the riots, the night that the Sherman Park riots happened. So we were able to, he was willing to send me the footage that he had of those, of that night. So you can see that in this show. I'm just grateful to Eric Young to sending that out to us.
Yeah.
While we have him, I know he's a busy man, Luke, but we do have Mr. Funky himself here on this call. I'm going to bring him in. He's out there hustling. He's out there working right now. So if the connection ain't that good, I see him moving. He's running somewhere. I see him moving. He's somewhere. He's sitting down somewhere. There he is. All right, here we go. Right. Mr. TrueMan McGee, welcome, sir. Oh no. We can't hear you, True. We can't hear you. Maybe it's like if you're on your phone, check out the Bluetooth scenario. I know. It's all good. We'll figure this out. Maybe turn your Bluetooth off, and maybe if you got some Bluetooth somewhere you got in your pockets or something like that, we're going to figure this out.
He probably has to, in order for his phone to work, he has to do like 5 burpees, maybe 5 push-ups, and call his mom. Oh, no.
We can't hear you. We can't hear you. That's right. Hey, I'm gonna take you off though, True. If you can like tool around and try to figure something else out, we'll get you back on. We'll get you back on in a second, True. Just this has happened when people use their phones on this thing. This has happened in the past, so
I've been guilty of it many times.
Yeah, I know it happens. But anyways, Cheryl, you're right. These are super polarizing times, and the beauty of what we're doing here, though, is, food really has that ability to unite people. And we've seen that firsthand on Wisconsin Foodie. If there's been any little political thing that we've put on our Facebook page, we hear about it. We see it straight up, and it makes people mad because you know what? They love the idea that we're not a political show, that we are just a show that's there to talk about food. And sometimes politics finds its way into what we do just because of the subject matter. But our goal isn't political. Our goal is just to tell beautiful stories about food. And, we've profiled Republicans, we've profiled Democrats,
One of the things that I actually learned in one of my lobbying endeavors, when in Washington, D.C., was that politics touches just about every level of the food system at certain points. I mean, it just does. It's so widespread in the food world. I actually personally find a lot of solace in the fact that having an interaction with a farmer or a food producer and having a direct relationship is about the best way to minimize a lot of that dissonance. But, this morning as I woke up and, I've been finding that I have to be really, really mindful about logging into social media and the amount of time that I spend on social media. And I saw one of the comments from last night's episode of a gentleman who was really upset. And I really let that cloud how I felt in the beginning part of my morning, because I do genuinely believe in the stories that we're telling. And I know for a fact that never, ever have you and I sat down to storyboard an episode and like, hey, you know what? We should work in this. It's always very, very circumstantial that a lot of these political figures, you know, end up as part of the programming or even are mentioned as part of the programming. So I really had to condition myself, you know, and that starts with like, okay, for today, I'm going to take all the social media off my phone so I don't have that there constantly bringing me back into that network. But really, for myself, I know that these stories, I think, are the way to combat that dissonance, reducing that fear. Sherman Phoenix is a place that everyone should check out, and everyone should feel comfortable doing so. As a matter of fact, it was one of my favorite hospitality experiences in my entire tenure of filming the show. It was so amazing. And, you know, to hang out with Venus Williams like we did at the Milwaukee Night Market or the Bucks Night Market. And she talked about, you know, it's really, really important in communities of color to see their own representation in these places. And it takes people coming to the city and experiencing it and spending money there to really, really actualize those dreams. And it's just kind of a reiteration of the same thing I tell, you know, vote with your dollars. You are empowering people to make a change in community, if it's via the state, if it's nationally, if it's internationally. You know, we're just trying to give that voice. And oftentimes it is very underrepresented. Oftentimes it's very clouded by propaganda. And oftentimes we see it through a lens of dissonance where I don't like those pieces because those don't affect or reflect my immediate reality. And that, you know, that in combination with like the Sikh temple, We Are One, it's provided a tremendous amount of like personal resonance, but also, you know, professional resonance. I want people to feel like, oh man, I want to check that place out. I've never had a funky fresh spring roll. I've never had to do a burpee or call my mom to get a discount at the store. I think that is the true essence of Wisconsin Foodie. And I actually have a tremendous amount of empathy for people who get caught up and fall off the wagon before they actually have the ability to like sit with the storyline and see this beautiful transformation of a human. I mean, TrueMan really grew through his work. And now, I mean, he's hustling so hard, we can't even get him on a phone call.
Let's see if his audio works now. Let me see. Hold on. Cross your fingers, Luke. TrueMan?
Yo.
Yeah!
Yes. Oh my God.
Yeah.
No.
How are you?
What did I miss? Did I miss anything?
Oh
You know,
no.
we kind of just broke down the socio-political, you know, all the things that brought this episode a tremendous amount of resonance.
Ooh.
And first and foremost, I just want to say it's so good to see your face.
Yes, man. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
this last 30, 40 minutes, hour is the true definition of entrepreneurship, where a lot of times nothing goes wrong, but you got to keep persevering, keep figuring it out. You might be a little late, but you're going to get there. You're going to get the job done. And that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
So
we're grateful to have you, TrueMan. Thanks for that hustle, man, and making this work out for everybody, because you know, it just wouldn't have been the same without you. I mean, Luke and I can talk you know, ad nauseum about stuff, but you know, you're the real moneymaker for us. You can already see the views starting to go up now. So
anybody who's been waiting, sorry guys, but we made it happen. Cheryl, we made it, girls. We made it. Mama, Rocky, Adrian.
Yeah.
Whew. All right.
So how you doing, man? What's up? What's good?
Listen, I'm on fire, man. You guys lit a fire up under me. I watched the episode yesterday. I didn't want to watch it on YouTube. I wanted to watch it on my TV. Yeah. So I watched it on my TV from YouTube, but I just wanted to experience it. My son got to experience it, and it was really cool. It was a really great episode. It was the way you guys tied it together. Like, essentially, it was two different episodes. Yeah. Kind of just like the way the world works. It worked out perfectly to mesh into one, and then getting Palermo's story in there and Sherman Phoenix story. it was beautiful, man. It was really good.
Yeah, I hope he did it justice, man. I watched it. I like to watch it on TV as well, and
Yeah.
it's funny because so last year we filmed that first part of that Sherman Phoenix that was going to be on like last year's season,
Right.
and we didn't get it put together in time, and so we had to come back, but it worked out so perfectly because there were things happening behind the scenes for you that we couldn't talk about on that episode.
Yeah.
But when we came back to you, they were already worked out. So we like it just kind of all came together.
Yeah, it came out perfectly. The highlight Sherman Phoenix to our deal, and it was great, man. It was just fun. It brought back so many memories. Me and Luke had a good time. I was hoping for that battle rap to get on there. I forgot what song was it. Was it Ice Baby or
most likely?
Baby Got Back.
Baby Got Back. There we go.
He got back. Yeah, exactly.
We need that beat. I need that footage.
We got it, baby. We got it. The one thing that we learned that I wasn't there for, I would have done this differently, but my crew decided to take Luke out to do all the intros after all of the burpees and everything. So the first thing you see is Luke standing there like a sweaty mess, and like his shirt's all sweaty, and it's like, what the hell just happened?
I was cracking up. Yes, that was great. I see the sweat emoji started to build on his face. His shirt. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah. Not many. Hopefully, not a lot of people noticed that one, but my producer had on. I saw that one, but man. So tell us true. Who's all in the Sherman Phoenix? So since we've been there, we ate all that food.
So no, it's like bittersweet, but most of those companies that we even highlighted is not even in the building no more. It sucks because you guys have such a great following, and I've already been getting hit up. I've been getting emails. I've been getting inboxes, and our growing has been already increased ever since yesterday. And I always tell you when I see you, like Foodie media-wise is probably the biggest thing we've done. Like I've got more recognition from Wisconsin Foodie to this day from an episode in 2017 or 2018 than any other like news, any other media that I've been on. So the Wisconsin Foodie effect is a real thing. So the sauce and spice unfortunately isn't there anymore. We got the jerk chicken pizza. Rise and Grind, who had the breakfast croissant, they just left the building last week. Who's Cooking, same thing this year. They closed down their doors. Confection Yours is still there, and Buffalo Boss still there, and of course we're there. But it's been other people kind of fill those spots up. So like it's a barbecue joint now. That Junior Smoke Barbecue is in there now, and we got some people looking at the other spaces as well.
Man, and tell us a little bit about. I'd love to know because I follow you on social media, man. If nobody follows if you haven't unfollowed TrueMan McGee on social media, man,
what are you doing with your life? If you don't follow me, what are you doing?
Your life it will be different from here on out, and it'll constantly make you hungry and want to be a better person at the same time. But make sure you check out that Funky Fresh, that Facebook link. Follow him on whatever Instagram, whatever he's on, you follow him because it's gonna change your life. But I want to talk about these bowls, man. Your new thing right now is bowls, right? You're making bowls. Tell me about that, man. They look so good.
Listen, so Funky Fresh Spring Rolls is just that. It's a huge part of our business, but I realized that Funky Fresh is the brand, and we can have other brand extensions. And the Spring Rolls has been taking off ever since our partnership with Palermo's. We are now in 150 grocery stores in Wisconsin and Illinois. So it's a lot of spring rolling going on. But what people don't realize is it's a lot of labor that's involved in food prep, especially spring rolls. You stand in there and it's hand rolled. Everything is hand rolled. A lot of my employees have experienced back issues, carpal tunnel. And I was trying to figure out like what else could we do? The spring rolls kind of have a life of its own. Can we introduce another food product that is still good, still kind of hit all of the pillars that we represent, flavor forward, fresh, fun with our engagement with our customers. So one of my favorite restaurants and one of my, that's Chipotle and Qdoba, that style of restaurants is I think the next phase of fast food. And as a small business, we have to always think about what could we do to be more efficient? What can we do to scale too? And I think that, just me personally, I'm always thinking like, how can a business be able to run more efficiently without me. I think as an entrepreneur, you have to think, if you don't create a business that can run on its own, you just essentially created a job for yourself. And for me, it's like, do I want to be doing all of the stuff that a chef does or cook does or cashier or whatever? I'm like, I want to be working on the business. So long story short, we created Funky Fresh Bowls, which is like a fast casual, fresh ingredient, nutrient filled, protein filled bowls where we got bunch of different bases. Like we have our quinoa stir fry as a base. We got our sweet potato fries as a base. A lot of elements that's in the rolls, just kind of in a bowl format. Our massage kale mix as a base, or roasted potatoes, or even jasmine rice. And you can get different proteins like our jerk chicken, like our birria chicken, birria. You got to roll those R's. Birria. We got our Tuscan salmon, could be a protein. We got a plant-based Korean beef. So like a lot of different protein options, a plethora of fresh and hot veggies you can add to it, and cheeses, sauces. So kind of build your own in and out. I want to get people in and out to enjoy the rest of their day.
Man, whenever I see those things, I'm like, I salivate. I need to get there. I need to eat that like immediately. Yes. I love it, man. And that avocado, you don't cheap out with the avocado either, man. I see like a whole avocado on some of these things.
No, we give a nice helping of avocado. I hate when you go to restaurants and they just kind of like, here, just give you like a little slice and a half of a greenish, brownish avocado. No, I want succulent green avocados. I want them perfect. So that's what we strive for at Funky Fresh.
Man, I see. So, sorry, Luke, go on. I don't want to dominate the conversation.
I want to ask him a question about, like, I think for a lot of entrepreneurs, specifically, looking back at my own career, the takeaway from like the entrepreneurial relationship is usually, okay, so this idea works in some capacity, and that gives you solace, or it provides money and income, and it allows you to free yourself up as an entrepreneur. What is it, Truman, that really gets you going? What keeps you motivated and pushing? Because you are a human that, like, defying all sorts of boundaries and obstacles, and you're still transitioning through this thing and keeping on reaching. What keeps you going?
I think I grew up an athlete, and I wrestled, and I done martial arts, and I've always been like competitive or whatever. And I follow sports, and I see what great athletes can do, and one thing that's always interesting is like that leaving a legacy, and they be able to leave that towards like the next generation. So for me, wanting to just kind of leave my own footprint in the food world in Milwaukee, and just in my family. Like my dad is I know I heard a little bit of you guys talking about politics or whatever. I always laugh about that, because at the end of the day, no matter who you voted for, we all got a favorite food, and that's what could bring us together. And that's what Foodie is about. Literally, that's the my dad was an alderman, and he grew up, and he was a somewhat of a controversial figure at times, but he also was just a great figure to the community. And throughout my whole life, I was raised as Michael McGee's son. I didn't even have a name. It was like, hey, you're Michael McGee's son. Hey, y'all know this is Michael McGee's son, whatever. So then, as I got older, my brother got into politics, and I became Michael McGee's brother. My brother's name was Michael too. So I didn't have an identity for the first 28 years of my life. So part of it was just kind of carving out my own name and my own footprint, to be great, but then also to inspire other people to just chase their dreams. Because, like we all have our own food, and we all have our own favorite food. We all have a day where we won't longer be here. We're guaranteed to die. So for me, it's like, if this is our one life, you telling me we got one life, why not do all of the crazy things that come up in your mind and go for it? Like, people have done it. Like, the people who's the most successful or not, like they've all just had crazy ideas and they just act on it. And I'll say, you know what? If this is the one life I got, it's guaranteed that I won't be here no more. The Funky Man is going to be out fight Audi 5000, and then I have to do the things I want to do in my life and get them out to the world. So long story short, again, death kind of keeps me motivated. It's like, yo,
Yeah.
this is it.
Yeah.
I'm about to live it up. I want to live the best life possible and come up with crazy ideas and maybe I can inspire other people to do that and be positive and live their dreams.
Yeah.
I think we share that same philosophy with Wisconsin Foodie, man. It's like life is short, let's create our own reality. Let's create our own destiny. And I know not everybody has that privilege, but it's a grind. None of us started from the top, I don't want to say but like we all started somewhere and we all had to grind through it. And if you really want to live that dream that you have, take a lead from Truman. You got to get down there and work and grind. And the man is a celebrity now, but he's still doing a demo at Outpost. He's still trying to get he's still doing that demos all over Woodman's Outpost.
Literally, I don't know if you can see him, but our crew is setting up in the back right now.
Which one is that? Which one is that?
So we're at the Outpost in Mequon right now.
All right. So if you're anywhere close to Mequon,
come
this
through.
man.
I'm gonna be here till 4:00. So come through. Come, get your roll on with us. Try some samples. Take a picture. Do some push-ups with me.
Yeah.
Who could tell you? I would do it with you. Okay, trust me.
Yeah. Hey, Truman, one of our fans here, Jim's got a question about wrestling. Did you wrestle at high school or college? Or talk a little bit about your wrestling career.
Yeah. So wrestling actually was a huge part of the food, believe it or not. So I wrestled in high school. I didn't go to college, but I was probably good enough to go to college and wrestle. But that was it. I wanted to go to college and wrestle. I didn't want to go to college and get an education. So I kind of just like, all right, that's the end of my career. And then when I was in high school, also I had a passion for food. I always used to cook for my teammates. So if you know anything about wrestling, you got to stay on weight. You got to be at a certain way. You got to eat healthier. So I was always cooking food for my teammates. And I actually wanted to get in culinary school, but I didn't know anybody that was a chef. I knew people that cooked, but a lot of times if you don't know people that has been in a similar career to you, it's like one more piece, like a bar that you need. It's like a little bar. If you don't know anybody, like for example, I always think of this: if my parents was astronauts, it would be realistic that I could be an astronaut too. But if you don't know anybody that's an astronaut, it's like it just seemed like it's an impossible thing. So I didn't know anybody that was chefs, so that's why it's important for me in my journey to represent other people, other kids that may look like me, that's like they don't know anybody as entrepreneurs or chefs or anything. Like, look, it's a dude that's in your same community who's did it. Like, I've come from the same streets as a lot of people, and to inspire people to say, hey, instead of going this way in life, this is the possibilities.
That's awesome.
So how far did you end up wrestling? Like, what was that a high school deal? Was that middle school? Or?
Yeah, so I got into I wrestled all the way from freshman year to senior year. So I didn't go to college wrestle, but I started coaching the year after I graduated. Or like it was like a full year, and then I started coaching at Milwaukee Tech. I was assistant coach there for like 8 years, and then I became head coach of wrestling at Milwaukee Pulaski. And around the time that's around the time when Funky Fresh first started, like I got laid off from my job. I was head coach of wrestling, but honestly, you coaching a sport is really you coaching it for free because a lot of your money goes back into the kids or helping out with the program. That's kind of what I did, and throughout that time, I had access to the wrestling room. So after wrestling practice, I would bring people in to train them, and also I would have food. So like a lot of the teachers at Pulaski were like their early test subject of Funky Fresh. Like I would literally bring food for them after their workouts, and then they would order food for lunch. And then around 2015, I got to a point in life where I was coaching wrestling, I was personal training, I was cooking food, and I was a single father. And I had to make that decision to say, you know what, I need to go all in into something. That's when I just stopped coaching wrestling, which is one of the toughest things in the world because I love coaching, I love the kids, whatever. But I need to show the kids, like, if you put all your dreams and ambitions into something, this is what could happen. And I hope that, a lot of those kids that I coach can see what happens if you give it your all at something.
Yeah,
I could see you being a good coach, though, man. I could see you being one of those good coaches out there that are really motivating the kids. Your son, is he playing baseball this year? What's going on with your son?
Yeah, so he actually wrestled his first year. He just finished his first wrestling season, so that's something I'm proud of. And wrestling is a tough sport. It's It's grueling. It's one-on-one. It's no one's coming to save you. It's you against. It's life though. It is what it is. That's why it's so great. But his true passion is baseball. Like literally on the way home yesterday from baseball, I said, if you had an opportunity to go to the World Series, watch the Brewers face the Angels. He loves Mike Trout, so he likes the Angels. So if you go watch the Brewers versus the Angels in the World Series, Game 7, the Bucks versus the Lakers, Game 7, or watch the Packers in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs, what would you do? His first thing was like, Daddy, why would you even ask me a question like that? That's a horrible question. he picked the Brewers versus the Angels, Game 7. He said I seen the Bucks win, so I mean he didn't see it in live.
I gotta agree with him on that, man. That's the one thing we got to see here in Milwaukee is the Brewers got to win now, and then we and they got to do it before I die. So I mean they got some years. Yeah, seriously.
Oh, it's coming.
Hopefully got longer than that.
Yeah, exactly. So Truman, what's next? I mean, like obviously you're doing the demos. You got the Funky Fresh Bowls happening. You've got spring rolls, and I mean, I know that it's dangerous to ask an entrepreneur like what's next because there's an expectation that there's always a next. But like, where does your life settle out these days?
So I love that you said that because as entrepreneurs, I feel like we always gotta. I think we just put that on ourselves, like what's next, and we like if we don't have anything next, we just feel it. We fill it up with something. But fortunately for me, it is a what's next, and so we're looking at doing Funky Fresh Bowls, frozen. So we're working with some. I'm working with the Palermo's team, and we're looking at some options to get our fresh, flavorful, funky bowls. Yeah, the shelves. Yep. Bowls. Trying to get Funky Fresh Bowls into the stores is our next thing. We're going through all of the process of that. That's one thing, and then two, we're looking at just continuing to expand the frozen rolls right now. So right now, like I said, we're in 150 stores. We're in Outpost right now. We're looking at getting into big national distributors. A month ago, I went to the show called Expo West, which is like the biggest all natural food show in the world. Like literally, Foodie needs to be at Expo West. We need a Wisconsin Foodie Expo West episode and maybe follow a company that might be there, like Funky Fresh. I don't know, and just kind of see like the network, how they maneuver through that because it's such a huge. If you haven't heard of Expo West, just Google it. It's like the biggest all natural food show. So from anywhere from the people who make food, the people who distribute it, food brokers, and just everything regarding food. Plus, just the food samples are just off the chain. So at Expo West, we met a lot of great connections, and hoping to see some of these connections manifest.
Yeah, that's awesome. Expo West is a fun experience. Is it still in Anaheim?
Still in Anaheim. 3 days, like 100,000 people. It's like 4 days. It was like 100,000 people in there. And we had a booth this year, so we were set up and we were having a good old Funky Fresh time. We was doing karaoke. Of course, we had to bring that funk. We were playing all of the James Brown, all of the good funk there. We were doing push-ups. I was doing push-ups with this guy named Chef. I can't think of his name. It's like this big, like the biggest, strongest chef you ever seen. He does like 2,000 push-ups a day. It's like a social media star. And me and him did like the longest one. We did one push-up, but we went 3 minutes to get down. It took us 3 minutes to get down. He went like centimeter by centimeter, went down. If you follow our Funky Fresh page, you'll see it. But
oh my gosh,
I can't think of his name. But yeah, it's just it's a great time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're gonna have to make a note of that next year. Take a look at Expo West and see if we can head out to
Expo West March.
We're always looking for excuses to travel. I mean, this year alone, we've already talked about like we may be going to Japan with Kiko Man. I don't know if you knew Kiko Man is there's a headquarters here in Wisconsin, and they're celebrating 50 years of business here.
Soy sauce.
Yeah.
Soy sauce company.
Yep.
Walworth.
Wow.
Who knew?
What?
Walworth, Wisconsin. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. And they, like, out of that facility, it's all of North America, South America, Central America. They've been here for 50 years. Obviously, there was a little bit of a hesitation bringing in a Japanese based company, but like most people don't understand and know that they were the first Japanese company to set up shop with production in the United States. They were before Toyota. They were before all of it. So like,
wow,
it's crazy. You know, Wisconsin kind of.
I've heard of the company. I think it's pretty much a household name if you like soy sauce.
Yeah.
But, wow,
exactly.
It's pretty amazing.
So yeah, we got all sorts of fun stuff. I know you're super busy. And if it's okay with Arthur, are you okay with letting TrueMan get on with his demo?
I'm more than happy to. I mean, I want to keep TrueMan here for as long as I possibly can because it's always so much fun, and that's what the people are here to see. But obviously,
I got a few minutes. It's up to you guys. I got some time.
Yeah, let's say 5 more minutes, and then we'll cut True free so he can do his thing over in Mequon. And so you've got it's almost 1 o'clock. You've got another 3 hours. You can go meet TrueMan in person. Try the Funky Fresh spring rolls in the Mequon Outpost. We love Outpost. One of my favorite jobs is working as a cashier at Outpost back in the day. And it's really a reason why I'm so much into food and natural food and local food is because of my time at Outpost. I mean, Outpost, I met my wife at Outpost. So many great that was the perk of being a cashier is you could just be a little chatty with people and I worked a little magic there, got a phone number, and 20 some odd years later, we are still together. So
guys, listen, you could find love. You could find Funky Fresh at Outpost, and you could find love. It's a win-win, okay?
Tell me about Woodman's though, man. I have to tell you, TrueMan, I'm a connoisseur of grocery stores. It's one of my favorite things to do is go into grocery stores, check it out. And I have to admit, I have never been into a Woodman's. Is that worth going to? Should I go to a Woodman's or should I not go to Woodman's? Tell me about it.
Wait, you've never been to Woodman's in your life?
Never been to Woodman's.
You live in Wisconsin?
I know. I'm being open and honest with you guys.
Get a good 2 hours for your free a 2 hour block, maybe 3. All right, go in there and just literally go through every aisle. What I love about Woodman's is Woodman's actually has a lot of. Somebody asked a question. I don't know. We should.
Oh no, it's just saying there's a pizza expo. Yes, in Vegas.
Oh, there's a pizza expo. Oh yeah,
That's
it is.
fun,
Yeah. I went there last year too, and I literally got sick from eating too much pizza. All right. So Woodman's is so tied to Funky Fresh story as well because when I was like around that time, I would go to Woodman's to get a lot of my stuff because honestly, a lot of the stuff they got the best prices for a lot of it, and they got a lot of good produce and everything. So my sweet potatoes, my black beans, peppers, all that, I used to go there and load up at Woodman's. So to get into Woodman's now is kind of like a dream come true because it's like full circle moment. But I think they just got a great variety at a great price. It is a little overwhelming. Okay, if you have trouble picking ketchups, they got about 12 different ketchup brands.
Oh man, that's what I'm scared of. I'm gonna stay there. I'm gonna get lost at Woodman's.
You're gonna be like, oh man, and it's no fun at that point. But
you know what I do? I shopped this week at Woodman's. Before I go in, it's a good store to go into with a list because otherwise you're gonna end up with that huge cart. And I always end up with a huge cart because there's always like so many things that I like. Oh, I want that. I can do this. I can do that. Mm-hmm. I pick out a podcast. I put on my headphones. They've got the phone mount on there, so you can kind of just like do your thing. Mm-hmm. And the part of Woodman's that always gets me, it's the clickety clack of the wheels on that tile floor because they're really small tiles. So it's like, and then I kind of make it a game. It's like, how many folks do I get odd stares from? Usually it's because I go in the middle of the afternoon. It's the older crowd. And it never fails. Like I always get pegged as the foodie guy. Hey,
I know you from Foodie.
Exactly. And they're always excited that I shop at Woodman's too, because I'm a human. And there's always one older gentleman who always is on like the cart thing, like driving around getting groceries. And then it's this test of wills, like, because he's kind of weaving in and out of the cart traffic, and I'm like trying to get through there. And by this time, my cart is huge and full. And then it's like we have that little bit of a stare down, like, come on, brother. I see.
Dude,
It's actually kind of a game. I like it.
that's funny. I'm literally in tears over here laughing. Luke is literally a Woodman shopper. He knows that's the experience. But
Yeah.
that the tiles just.
Why? Why
It's
those tiles?
Yo, it's some psychology behind that. It has to be.
Yeah.
It has to be some I don't know what it is. Maybe it's to know you're at Woodman's. I have no clue. But yeah. So anywho, they got everything you want.
Sure.
Yeah, and they got everything you want and then more at the store. So get 2 hours. Go to the Menominee Falls Woodman's. Get your fresh produce. Get your 4 different ketchups, your 17 different ranch dressings, your chicken breast, they got everything you could think of, shrimp and lobster, and they got
You know what I signed up for this year? I signed up to run our Little League's concession stand. Or I'm not going to run it, but I'm gonna set it up and manage it. So I'm buying products. I'm trying to get some interesting foods and some good stuff in there. I might have to throw some spring roll. We might have to try to get some funky fresh spring rolls up in the Little League concession stand.
Man, if you get an air fryer, you could cook 8 of them at a time. You know, people got time to wait, so to say, hey, your rolls are up, but. Yeah. You might get too crazy where you gotta, just keep growing. Now you need 3 air fryers, and then you're blowing out the electricity in there. And then the Little League don't got a scoreboard because Arthur blew up the electricity. The kids are waiting. The parents are hungry. So
have you ever played at Beckham? Has your son ever played at Beckham Stapleton? That field? We were there for like a tournament this past summer, and man, they had rib tips. They had like a catfish sandwich.
He was cooking like a full soul food plates out of that little kitchen.
That was like a hidden. I was shocked. I was so into it, man. I just had a whole thing of rib tips. And I just sat there and just
people that's not even there for the games just come up there for food. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Arthur, you're gonna recreate the smorgasbords of old. In your concession stand, like all these bits and pieces of people that we profiled, like.
I'm reaching out to Palermo's later on. They need to hook up some pizzas for that concession stand. I know we got the pizza cookers, man. Let's get that.
Watching. Rebecca's somewhere watching.
Yeah,
Rebecca.
Hey, Rebecca. I'm going to say I'm sorry. So I'm going to tell everybody I'm sorry because I had my weeks mixed up. I thought another episode was airing this week, and it was like very last second where Luke was like, Arthur, I think you're wrong, man. I think it's this episode, and I quickly searched, and I was like, oh, I'm wrong, and. Yesterday was a little foggy, a little hazy yesterday. I'm not going to lie. So we
did better than Netflix, what they did. So I'm not worried about it.
So we got that out, though. It happened. It happened seamless. People got to watch the episode. But I wish I was able to tell everybody like a little sooner, like you and the folks at Palermo's, that the episode was airing this week because, I know they wanted to know a little. They wanted a little heads up, and I messed that one up. So, but it's on YouTube. It's all good. All right, True. Love you, man. Always love having you on. I really appreciate your time and your energy and your efforts in the state and Wisconsin. And man, keep pushing. We need you.
Appreciate you guys. And we'll keep getting my roll on.
Yeah, Mech 1 today, 4 p.m. Guys, get in the car. Go there now.
Come through.
Continue the conversation live while eating spring rolls.
We got a line of people over there waiting for spring rolls. So I'll see y'all later.
Peace. Bye. Later. All right, Luke, another good episode. Hey, man, one more episode left of the season. We really got to figure out what we're going to do with this live stream after the last episode airs, and I know the people want us. The people want to continue hearing from us, so maybe we'll do a pared down sort of 15-minute update, 30-minute update, something like that. But we really got to figure out how to keep this going because I think it's fun, man. It's valuable. I get to hang out with you for a little while. Anytime I get to hang out with you and some of these folks, for an hour, 45 minutes, man, it makes me happy. It helps my day. So
me too. I love you. I love all these people that we profile. I love the stories that we tell. And like I tell people when they ask me like, what's going on with Wisconsin Foodie? We are literally just getting started. 16 years in and you're just getting started, bud.
Yeah, man. I know. And to like Jim, Cheryl, Alicia, we were talking this past week about a dinner that we're trying to plan. We're going to make sure you guys are all on the guest list because, we could not do a dinner without inviting you guys to Luke's place, the Owl Farm. So we're working on that behind the scenes. We're not going to forget about you. Yeah, we may meet you in person at the Madison Farmers Market. Probably not tomorrow. I know tomorrow's the first. I think tomorrow's the first day of the Dane County Farmers Market.
Last week.
Last week was okay. But it's going to be awesome. We will definitely, and I think, the one thing is everybody wants to know about events, different events that we're doing. We don't have a lot of dates. We don't like, sometimes these farm dinners kind of just pop up, but like, I think if there's anything that I've heard from everybody that emails us is they want to know when farm dinners are happening. So if we could get a little funding in place and create something on our website that could really, that could showcase all these great farm dinners, I think that would be a huge moneymaker for us, and help, you guys kind of connect with all these dinners that are happening out there. So anyways, another great week. Next week is our last episode of the season. I cannot believe it's gone by so fast. We got to figure out how to make more episodes and be on TV more. So anyways, Luke, you're doing a great job, man. Love you. Appreciate you. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Sounds great. Thank you, everyone.